Greetings sailors and welcome back to World of Warships, and actually my second attempt to record this video. Yeah, the first one went a little bit wrong on the technical level, so here we are trying again. And what I'm going to try and do today is I'm going to be completely up to date and play the Japanese light cruiser line, or at least the one that I'm currently grinding through, because yeah, I tend to take a while with especially light cruisers. You might be looking at the interaction thinking, surely he's done the Dutch before. I have. For some reason I decided I was going to reset that line for Research Bureau points, because it's a line I hadn't played that much, so it kind of gave me an excuse to play back through it. But at the same time it also means I have to play back through it, so... Yeah, Omono on the other hand, I've only played a couple of battles in it so far. I think enough to get the range unlocked, but not the second hull yet. So it's still semi-stock, and even with the range upgrade, it's not a fantastic range at tier 7. It's okay. There are certainly much worse. In fact, there are probably worse at tier 8. But yeah, it's not fantastic for a squashy, not particularly manoeuvrable light cruiser. Does have decent concealment though, 10.7, and it can actually stealth drop its torpedoes as well, I believe. Yeah, 13 kilometers, which is an odd range for Japanese torpedoes, but I guess they just wanted to give it at least some room to stealth drop without it being completely absurd. So yeah, they're decent range, but they're not super fast. 63 knots is kind of medium speed, high end of medium, I'd say. I'd sort of, what, upper 60s and above is what I would categorize as fast. Somebody actually commented on that, and I'd called some 60 knot torpedoes not particularly fast, and in the context of warships they're not, you know. But in the context of real life torpedoes, that's quite fast. But then these days in warships we have, you know, 70, 80, 90 knot torpedoes, so yeah, it's one of those things where the gameplay is rather divorced from reality, but in a way that's, well, it's all right. I think it's one of those areas where yes, it's very arcadey, but it's fine for the purposes of gameplay balance. I think it's fine. Sometimes there are other areas where they've made things a bit silly and it's less fine, but it kind of really depends on the context. Anyway, bottom tier, a submarine, yay. But only 2 destroyers, although they are both fairly sneaky ones. But in terms of out-spotting other things, I ought to have a relatively good time. And I might even get a chance to do some stealth drops. I guess we'll see. The other ship I actually considered doing for today was the highest level of the second European branch, which is only still the tier 6 that I've unlocked, the stored. So maybe I'll do that for the next video. Hopefully it's better than the tier 5, because the tier 5 was not that good. The tier 5 was a little bit lackluster. So quite a long reload on these, considering it's a light cruiser. That's actually more of a heavy cruiser reload. That would still be a good reload on a heavy cruiser, 13 seconds, although there are better, but for a light cruiser it's pretty lackluster. You do have triple turrets though, so you sort of have that rather negative of the reload to compensate for the fact that you're packing quite a lot of barrels. So it sort of evens out in terms of DPS, but in terms of like actually laying down firepower and hoping to get fires on people, it's a bit less good. So yeah, stats otherwise all right. I think this is a decent ship. I've played it a few times already, as I've said, to get the range upgrade. So yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I think the torpedoes certainly are a bit less awkward to use than the Omono. No, not the Omono. What's the tier 6? This is the Omono. I forgot what the tier 6 is called. Gokase? I think it's Gokase. I seem to remember that having not as good torp angles, whereas on this, yeah, it's actually pretty good. But they are, as you can see, side-mounted torps. So you have to turn around. Although, having said that, you know, that's actually the norm for cruisers. Ones with centre-mounted torpedoes are actually pretty uncommon. Although I'm sure there are examples out there. Talking of torpedoes and cruisers, they've actually announced that they are once again going to try testing the infamous Kitakami. But, yeah, we'll see. I mean, the last time round, it was actually when I was still a CC, so I got to try it myself for the first time ever in that particular incarnation. So it'll be interesting to see what they come up with this time that's different. Obviously, I'm not going to get to test it out this time, but I will still get to see what the stats are. So, yeah, last time round it was, what, tier... they put it as a tier 10, I think? Or was it a tier 8? No, I think it was a tier 10 on that occasion. And they had given it, I think I remember, a smoke screen on that particular occasion as well. Still utterly inadequate firepower, but hey, it's a Kuma at like tier 10, so of course. It really was all about the torpedoes, but I suspect that was still when team damage was a thing as well, so you did still have to be careful of that. Right, nobody's going for the CCAP, which it's calling to me a little bit, but I think it's the sirens that are luring me to my doom that are calling to me there, so I think we will not do that. We're not going to be able to stealth drop here, but we will be able to drop torpedoes. Do I want to drop across there? Try and get that angle there, that's fine. And not run aground, because that would be bad in a squishy light cruiser. Yeah, somebody laying smoke across there. Possibly Kagero. Yep. More torps down there. So even that hit was enough. That was sort of semi-angled Megami AP, although I think it might have been heavy. Yeah. The Megami themselves has taken a fair old hit. You can see there, the turret traverse, not particularly responsive. I mean, the last ship I played was a battleship with very nice turret traverse. This is kind of the inverse. It's a cruiser with very poor turret traverse. Yeah, should we... I don't know if there's a huge amount happening on this flank. Might be kind of hilarious if... if my torpedoes thinks the Kagero, surely it's going to run out of range. I got the Kagero as well. Well, there you go. For a blind drop, I think that was rather productive. I won't complain. Double strike and a dev strike. Yeah, that also removes probably the biggest threat for our team on that flank with the Kagero. So there you go. That is the absolute main strength of this line, is the very, very good ranged torpedoes for their tier for a Japanese cruiser. In fact, just for a cruiser generally, not many cruisers get to have properly long-range torpedoes. Right, so I could try and angle and back up an angle a bit more so that I could potentially say torpedo the Allende coming through, but that might make me a bit too vulnerable in terms of my overall angling to their firepower, especially considering they have AP. Yep, there's the Allende's torpedoes. No, radar, brain, torpedoes, radar. Those are the same thing, right? So anyone that might... Yeah, there you are. Am I going to get to cap this in the time it takes for those shells? Nope, sadly not. Yeah. Oh well, we nearly got there. Yeah, sort of angled, it's not really the worst. Also, just in case, I think we're into torp range for that guy. Yeah, just in case, let's get the other Hydra going. I might be a bit stuttery on whatever today. I don't know. I've just not been sleeping that well this week, which always sort of compounds the issues that I have with trying to make videos and, you know, communicate clearly when making said videos. But it's actually been a good week overall, just in terms of the fact that I had a job interview and got to the point of it's not anything glamorous. It's literally going to be washing dishes, but it's got to the point where with YouTube and Patreon and just the increased cost of things generally, and obviously that's affecting other people's ability to support me on Patreon, for example. That yeah, I need some other source of income. So yeah, something that is not going to be too taxing on the old brain noggin, which is the technical term, as we know. Oh, we won. Okay, I guess they ran out. Did they run out of points? I guess. Oh, we didn't literally lose. Oh, yeah, okay. We didn't literally lose a single ship. That would be why we won. So that was a game. Yeah. Okay. I mean, it had an amusing moment at least. Let's try that again. See if we get something a little more involved. So anyway, yeah. I mean, part of it is on me as well. You know, just having not been making that many videos, and heck, you know, if I could seriously get myself into Twitch streaming, that might help a fair bit, but I don't seem to be able to do that. Like I sit down and think, right, I'm gonna have a schedule, I'm gonna do this day and this day and this day, and then on the day in question I'm just like, no brain, can't brain, no words. So yeah, I do a good zombie impression, and that wouldn't particularly be entertaining to watch for anyone just watching me play craply. So yeah. So this works out. It's going to be something part-time, and I can still have time to, you know, it's not going to affect the current rate at which I'm making videos, let's put it that way. And hey, you know, the fact that I'm going to be potentially getting an actual regular fixed amount of income and not having to stress about the money side of things anymore, that actually might help me out quite a lot as well. Yeah, because like I say, as I'm sure most all of you are aware, the price of things has been going up, and I've actually had one or two patrons that I've had to stop supporting me, and you know, they've literally sent me a message saying I would like to, but you know, food and electricity and rent and whatever prices are all going up, and I need to economise where I can. And I'm just a dude that makes hopefully entertaining videos on the internet. I'm not that important on the scheme of things when it comes to, you know, other people's spending of other people's money. I'd love it if obviously, you know, I was the most important thing, but that might be less good for people that were then like, well, I could eat this month, or I could give all my money to Pointy on Patreon. I'll do Pointy on Patreon. It's fine. I don't need to eat. That's not really a good state of affairs. I don't think anybody really wants that. I'm not that sociopathic to think that, yeah, no, that would be good. So clearly, this is why I haven't made it big as a Bitcoin bro, and you know, I don't have that inherent need to scam people and sell people bridges. So there you go. I'm too nice or something. Anyway, I was too busy blathering. I haven't even looked at what's going on in this this match. So we have CV, no subs, couple of destroyers, quite battleship heavy, which is going to be obviously interesting for me in my squashy cruiser, but the matchmaking could certainly be a lot worse. It's a tier 6 to 8 game, so that's fine. Oh, I'm spotted. Although the Farragut is busy smoking up at the moment. So let's hope nobody decides to get a sneaky shot off there. Cleveland hopefully radaring, but that Farragut sensibly ran away. I was hoping if I could maybe get close enough to put torpedoes across the cap again, but... Well, not again, but, you know, to put torpedoes across like I did last time. Guessing a kind of blind double strike twice in a row would be... well, two matches in a row would be quite something, but a little unlikely to happen, I suppose. I guess we'll make one drop. Oh, no, okay, the Farragut's down there, apparently. I was thinking they might have tried to get round back while the Cleveland was on cooldown, but I guess not. That puts them far away enough that I can actually try and maybe get into torpedo range of something, although they are largely angled away. Yes. The Richelieu is sort of coming this direction though, but they are a fair ways off the max range of my torps. And I don't know if they're going to continue, but I don't necessarily want to get into the cap. That might trigger some planes to come and investigate or something, so let's make the turn now. Maybe try and... oh, yep, there we go, I'm spotted. It's a good thing I was already in the turn. It's still a bit risky. Hello, Farragut. Right, oh, it didn't lock on. Sometimes it doesn't. It's mildly annoying. I've noticed that as a thing recently. Although maybe it's not recently. Maybe that's just always been a thing. That it's not necessarily always that great at locking on. Yeah, I think our Akatsuki might be in a bit of trouble there. It's managed to smoke. But we'll see if that was enough for them. Oh, that was a double fire. That was not nice. That's the Shimanto. Got a fire on the Farragut. We'll see if that sticks. No, they hadn't used their DCP already, so it did not stick. Okay. And the Richelieu's kind of hanging out back there. Okay. That's fine. Those torpedoes came remarkably close, but even if he'd been a bit more in position, they still would have run out of range. Right, unspotted. Oh, somebody else actually finished off that Farragut. Okay. That's nice. We do have the Akatsuki possibly around here somewhere. You're not looking so happy, Fuso. There's a thing called angling, and I guess you're not doing it. Because, yeah, especially in a higher tier game like this, you can't afford to be quite so laissez-faire about things. This is not looking great overall, just in terms of map control, but we still do have plenty of ships. Oh, whose torpedoes are that? That probably belongs to the enemy Omono. Oh, the Shimanto, rather. Which, that's the tier 8, right? Yes, that's the one that comes after. See, I'm not the only one that's still grinding these. I know I'm hideously behind, but I'm not the only one that's hideously behind. And to be fair, I think part of the fact is they're just going to have generally less appeal, mass appeal, as light cruisers. Although maybe more so than the more recent ones, the South American ones, just because they do have the ability to stealth torp. And also they have access to high explosive shells. Both of which are quite useful qualities in a cruiser. Right, we might actually just open fire here. Focusing this isolated Amagi, who's having a real bad time. Oh, Parsifal was actually able to kill that. Well, that's unfortunate. But it's not like the Cleveland is anything like the powerhouse that it used to be. Sadly. That Shimanto's also taken a bit of attention. One of the issues with being stock hull is I don't have... I'm not rocking a huge amount of health here. That's like 27k. That's like tier 5, tier 6 cruisers level of health. I don't think the top hull is going to necessarily be massively better, but better enough, one hopes. Right, I am acutely aware of the planes wiggling around the place, but... Oh, there we go. I don't know who they're going for. I may have wasted the fighter. On the other hand, you kind of have to pop the fighters relatively early these days, because quite often, if you don't, by the time they actually get up in the air, the planes have passed and they don't do anything. Although sometimes the planes have passed and they don't do anything regardless. Right, now that Richelieu's coming back into view, I kind of don't want to chance that. Oh, hello. Oh, well, that was a well-aimed... good thing for me that... that was... purely overpens, but still. Right, come on, turrets. Yeah, this is sort of slipping away from us, unfortunately. Oh, Richelieu! No! No, you don't want to do that, Richelieu. You don't. You don't want to do that. I am but a poor, innocent light cruiser. I am not a threat to nobody. Yeah, I've not done a huge amount of damage so far, but 2 kills is, I guess, better than no kills. The Richelieu is being pretty cagey. We don't have a lot left at this stage. I mean, they don't actually have that much left either, to be honest. Maybe I should be thinking more about that Akatsuki, although that does also put me in the line of fire, potentially, of North Carolina. Yeah, the Colossus clearly being spotted. Oh, also, hello planes. This might hurt. Okay, fortunately it did not. Yeah, that's the newer one. That has, I think, semi-ridiculous AP rockets. But I didn't care enough to spend the monies required. Or to spend the monies required to get it, because the actual amount that you can grind is pretty stingy of the Nottingham tokens. So whatever you do, you're going to have to basically plonk down quite a bit of money. Right, this is awkward. This is very awkward. Where are you going, North Carolina? Set some fires or something. I mean, they might be a bit more focused on the carrier now, but yeah. If we could just beat them on ships, but the thing is we can't afford to lose too many more ships ourselves, otherwise it's going to be game over on points. Hey, at least I wanted a more involved game, and even if we lose, this will have been that. Although, to be honest, the damage isn't that great so far, but hey. Some matches are like that, sadly. Right, Tirpitz has their attention. Don't have any shots on that Akatsuki, but if I turn back round the other way I might do. Or is he trying to run? I think he's trying to run actually. Yeah, he's actually facing the other way. Okay, never mind. Not gonna get the North Carolina with torps, I don't think. It'd be funny if I got well into the Graf Spee, but I think they're a bit too spread out at that stage. This turret traverse is probably the most killer thing about this this ship. I can't even remember if I've invested in it, but if I haven't, I might even get the captain skill. Yeah, we're only really doing snippets of damage. The Turpit's really just trying to get close enough to use his torpedoes. Right, nice. Unfortunately, he took out the Turpits, but that, I think... Oh, they've still got the Richelieu. Okay. Yeah, they've still got the Richelieu that's just been being very cagey. And probably is going to kill our other Turpits. Yeah, this is looking iffy. Not hugely worried about Graf Spee, but you know, they land a lucky hit and that's that. Oh. There goes the Andrew Doria, there goes the Turpits. I don't think we're winning this one. I think that might be that. It's now just me and the Colossus. And not a lot of time. Yeah, there we go. Half my remaining health. Is there even time to land hits on this Akatsuki? No. Oh well. Not hugely high damage or anything. Yeah, no torpedo hits in that one. I don't think I got particularly lucky with fire damage there. No, only 5k fire damage. And not a great amount of damage from my my guns. Oh well, at least it was a much more involved game than last time, a much closer game than last time. Because, yeah, they don't really get much more one-sided than that match there. So, the Omono, one can now actually unlock the upgraded hull, which will help a bit. It's not bad as a tier 7 cruiser. It's got some nice utility to it. But, yeah, I could probably do with some more captain skills. Yeah, we almost certainly want that. Grease the gears. Yeah, that's actually worse turret traverse than the dice set, I think. That's actually worse than some battleships. It's a pretty bad turret traverse for a cruiser. It's pretty awful. So, hopefully you have enjoyed this video and my ramblings, and if you have, you can do all the usual things down underneath it, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.